yan, Metlog. Panalo na naman ako. Ano sa piso ko?
Gago. Hindi pa patay yan, oh. Gago.
Patay na yan.
Sexy shit. Woo!
Si nanay.
Gago yung kapatid kasi. Ito nakadilat pati.
Ayan, boyfriend.
Ganda to, ano? That's ba hindi?
Hindi.
Baka muna bantayan mo kasi walang bantay to eh, ha? Tagal ka na dito? At sino mo binabantayan mo?
Si tatay.
Uy, anong ginagawa mo dito?
Galaw-galaw na ho tayo, magdalawang sa sidok.
Kasi nga siya, sinamahan ko siya dito eh. Nakakinip dun eh.
Alam mo, ayoko na talaga umalis dito. Libre na yung pagkain 3 beses pa sa isang araw. May nag-aalaga pa sa akin. Alam mo, pag nandito tayo, hindi ko alam kung matutuwa ba ako o malulungkot ako.
Ito lang talaga na aksidente ki. Kita tayo. Nagpostahan kasi kami nun kung deads ka o mabubuhay ka pa dun sa ER.
Ano ba akala mo sa akin? Manok na panabong? Pakyo ka!
Gihangol ko sa imong paghikap kasi laob sa kalibutan.
It's good to see you, Baba.
It's good to see you, my darling.
You need help with that?
Okay. I'm sending this to my family back home.
If you want, I can drive you to the post office. If that's okay with your boyfriend.
He's not my boyfriend.
You're safe now. You're here with me.
You don't know what you're talking about. That man, I was paying him to marry me for a green card.
Gorgeous.
I want to tell you something.
It doesn't matter to me.
Gihangol ko sa imong paghikap. Kalukog na ako sa dilaan.
Good evening, America. Magandang umaga, Pilipinas. I am Anna Feleo, and I'm going to be one of your hosts for tonight's Family Matters. Kasama ko, I am with Mr. JP Ferrer as my co-host. JP, welcome and good evening to you.
Hello, Anna. Welcome again, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be working with you. Everybody, my name is John Paul Ferrer, as Anna said, but I have to brag about Anna
Oh
a
dear.
little bit. So it's not often that I get to work with an opera singer, let alone somebody who played the musetta in the CCP's La Boheme.
Labo Wem.
La Boheme, geez. The Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra. It's such a pleasure to have you here. And so it's going to be a special night talking about 2 important movies that we are premiering here in the United States.
Yes, and this is brought by FAHM.ily, the Filipino American History Month, right? JP, could you tell us more about FAHM or FAHM?
Right, Filipino American History Month. The U.S. Congress actually passed the law recognizing October as the Filipino American History Month because it's believed that the first Filipino in Morro Bay landed in October. And every year here in Chicago, we have such a wide number of celebrations of Filipino Americans getting together and celebrating the history. Unfortunately, this year it's a little bit different with the pandemic happening now, so everything is going virtual. So Filipino American History Month is a time for us to reflect on the Philippine history. Not only that, some of the pioneers that paved the way here in the United States for us Filipino Americans to enjoy the liberty that we have and continue to advocate for the Philippines.
That's right. You know what? I am extremely excited about tonight and to talk to our guests tonight because I have watched the film Edward and I am looking forward to watching Lingua Franca. And before we go on, I would like to introduce the producer of Lingua Franca, the multi-awarded producer, Mr. Jhett Tolentino. Jhett?
Hi, mabuhay. Hello from New York. How are you, Anna?
I am good. I'm good here in the Philippines, and I do miss New York. How are you over there? How's everything over there?
Great. I love autumn, especially in New York. So I can't go wrong. So I hope everyone who's watching is well and safe amidst this pandemic.
Yeah.
Just hang in there, just a little bit more. We'll be out
Thank
of
you,
this.
Jed. Yeah, thank you,
Hi,
Jed.
JP.
And hi. Next, we also have another guest who is the director of our films, Thop Nazareno.
Thop, are you there?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Anna. Hi, JP. Thanks for having me.
Hello.
And Thop is also in the Philippines right now. In Manila. Are you in
Yes.
Manila? Yeah.
I'm in Manila, yes.
And how is everything over there? Where in Manila? In Quezon City? And
I'm in Manila, like Manila. It's been a rough few months. It's hard to be creative being locked up like this, but I guess I have no choice but to make it work. I can't wait to get back to work and start shooting again and tell more stories. Yeah.
and
Looking
I
forward
can't
to that.
wait to hear more about your film and to hear about Edward. JP and JP, sorry, Thop and Jhett. I was mesmerized by the movie Edward. I was there when I watched it in CCP Main Theater at the big screen, and it is such a wonderful film. And Louella, are you also there?
Yes.
Louella is with us.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Huh?
Louella.
Louella Cabalona, everybody. She is the lead. She's the lead singer of SamaSama Project and the vice president of the presenting organization, FYLPRO. Louella.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Louella.
Thank you for joining us, Top and Anna from the Philippines, Jhett and JP. I'm so glad that we are all here together to talk about the events of Filipino American History Month. And like Jhett said, or rather that like JP said, over here in the Philippines, I kind of shifted over my theater career when I was working some decades back with Anna Feleo in Manila, moved it over to bringing Filipino American, or rather Filipino folk fusion music here in Chicago. And that advocacy of just spreading culture helped me be more aware of the needs of our Filipino American community, which led me to FYLPRO, which is our Filipino Young Leaders Program. So yes, I'm currently serving as vice president, and I'm happy that we are able to do these two huge events that I can't wait to hear about from the director himself and from the producer himself of those two films. So thank you.
Thop, I'd like
Yeah.
to ask. I want to start asking questions about the film and your journey with with Edward with your film. It's been a year since its premiere in Cinemalaya Film Festival, and congratulations for winning #1, and congratulations on your first premiere in your first screening in the US. How has your journey been with Edward from its conception to shooting it to premiering it in the Philippines, joining the competition, and then now?
Yes, thank you, Anna. You know what? I can't believe it's been a year since we premiered it in Cinemalaya. And what's more shocking to me is actually it's been what 3 years since we started conceptualizing about the story of Edward. It's been a long journey, and it's still actually kind of surreal to me because it's only my second film, and they say that it's hard to make your first film, but it's harder to make your second film. Yeah, so there's a lot of weight on me and making this film, but I'm just happy to make this film at this time of this crisis that we're all facing now, the pandemic. It's very timely, and I think the awards and recognitions are just, should I say, just bonuses, just icing on the cake. But ultimately, I made this film with a real purpose, to tell the real situation of the Philippine healthcare system. And I don't know if it's right to say that I'm glad that I made it at this time because of the unfortunate situation that we're in. But yeah, I hope it serves its purpose, to enlighten people about our situation. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but I'm very grateful that God made me an instrument to to tell this story, this relevant story, and yeah, I hope more people get to watch it. Yeah.
So I actually saw the preview, and like what you said, you're unfortunate to have filmed it before the pandemic hit, because obviously this movie, as people are going to see, was set in a general hospital in the Philippines. So the question that I have, how was that working in this hospital, and what were some of the challenges that you ran into?
There were a lot of challenges in making this film. First of all, when we were conceptualizing the film, I'm sorry, yeah, when we were conceptualizing the film, I thought that it would be easier for me to have a story that is only set in one location. It would be cheaper and all that. But when we got into Cinemalaya and became a finalist and started working on the film, unfortunately, it was harder actually to produce it because first of all, it's hard to find a functioning hospital that would permit us to shoot in, because the hospitals in the Philippines are very crowded, and we would be just putting additional burden to the people there. So that was the first hard thing about it, just to finding the producer to believe in our story, because as we know, in the Philippines, they have to be, of course, as producers, they want to have an ROI. They want to make money out of the film, and the films like this, who are very social, who has such a very strong social voice, don't really make it to the mainstream audience, which is the majority of the moviegoers in the Philippines. So that was the first thing that we had to go through, just to pitch it and have people believe in our story. And the filming itself was hard, physically tiring. We shot this in 3 different hospitals. We shot it in abandoned hospital in Quezon City. So the whole thing in the movie was, we had to set it up. We had to make everything from scratch. So all the patients there and are not really patients. They were actors.
Are you serious?
Yes. And so
Wow.
it was very tedious to shoot. Just one scene is very tedious in terms of production design because as you know, public hospitals are very crowded, and each patient that you'll see in the screen should have their own story, right? They should have their own ailment. They can't all have the same thing. So that's why I have a medical consultant, and it would take us probably around 2 to 3 hours just to set up for one scene. Just you have to set up the IVs of each patient and everything. You have to rehearse, and we even shot a lot of scenes. I shot a lot of scenes in one takes, so there was a lot of preparation involved in that. Choreography and everything. So yeah, it was a very hard film, especially for a second, for a newbie director like me. It's only my second film, but it was challenging. It was a challenge that I was up to because I believed in the purpose of the film more than anything, more than the awards or yeah. So yeah, as I've said earlier, I can't believe it's been that long since I made it. A lot has happened already, and I'm glad that I'll be able to show it to the frontliners in Chicago. I'm very happy thank you for making this possible.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's a lot to make a film. That I
Yes.
know.
And to fight for your message, to fight for your, your authenticity in that film,
Yes.
because and also to find the right producer for your film who would believe in your message the way you see it, right?
Yes.
Talking about your message, you hear this a lot, that especially for filmmakers or film creators, your film is you. So how much of you, of who you are, did you put in Edward, or how was it? Like, how much of you could we see in that film?
It's very hard for the creator to tell how much of himself is in the film, but I guess my two films are coming of age films. I think there's a fascination there. Maybe I love my childhood. I enjoy making. That's why I enjoy making and telling stories about my so-called teenage years, where it's the time to discover yourself and explore things and not be judged, and and you still have your whole life ahead of you to to redeem yourself. So I think it also, my two films are about father and son dynamics, and people keep asking if I have father issues, which I don't. I have a good family. I love my dad, but I think it's more of, I think, looking in from the outside, and also people ask me if why I made this film about public healthcare system when I haven't myself experienced it. What was my motivation about it? I think that's where I see the injustice more. Looking in. I mean, someone from the outside looking in, I see the injustice. I was surprised that our healthcare system was this bad. I think that's just, and the same thing goes with, I can't imagine growing up without a father. I can't imagine the pain of the people in the hospitals, and I can't imagine the people or the children that have to grow up without a father figure. I think it's more of that. It's more of the opposite than more of a personal experience. Yeah.
Wow. So I actually grew up in the Philippines and I left in 1988. But from someone who actually grew up in the Philippines and watching this movie, it kind of reminded me when I've had relatives that have been sick and going to a general hospital. So it's really realistic. So when I was watching this, it brought back the memories I had as a childhood, and obviously the aches of seeing somebody I love being ill. So I thought that was job well done.
Oh, thank you.
Both films. I was also able to watch his first film, Kiko Boxingero, which was also in competition at the Cinemalaya Film Festival in 2017.
17. Yes.
Right? And it's still, your films are so powerful to me because it's seen through the eyes of children, with its purity, with its extreme abandonment and openness of the mind and of the heart. So whatever hits the child, it's so raw. That's why I think both of your films are so powerful to me. But I'd like to ask you, those were all the kids that you worked with in both films were actors, right? You didn't just pull them out of the school, they're all actors. So how was it like working with young actors like Luis Abel and Ella Cruz, who also won Best Actor for the movie Edward? How was it like working with these
Best
actors?
supporting actors.
Best supporting actors.
It was nice. I actually prefer working with young actors. I like working with new actors as well, because it's more fun. It's as a storyteller. There's more. Since filmmaking is my passion, it's you want to have fun while making your film. And working with kids just brings so much positive energy on the set, and it motivates you so much because of their energy. Because making a film is not easy, and for this film, Luis Abuel was actually a very shy kid. And a trivia, just to give you something to think about this. Edward is actually a coming of age film, right? And it's also a coming of age story of Luis Abel himself. He did a lot of things in the movie that he haven't experienced before. It was his first time to do these things. I don't want to spoil it, but teenage things. Things that you explore when you're in your teens. So I was very happy that I casted him because he was very into the material. He trusted me, and I trusted him as well. And I created this relationship with my actors, even in my first film, where they could treat me not as a director, but more of like as a kuya or as a brother. So it's more open. We can collaborate more. You don't need to impress me because I'm your director, and I don't need to impress you that I'm this genius director and I know everything. So there's the wall. I took down the wall, and the collaboration was very good. And that's why that's the thing about working with new actors or young actors, because you didn't have to deal with egos and stuff like that in show business. A lot of unnecessary show business stuff that you have to deal with. So we're all just focused on doing our best in the film. So making the film with these kids was very should I say very fun experience, and also a very educating experience. It's a humbling experience as well. It's very refreshing for me.
And it's refreshing to hear from a director, firsthand your relationship with your actors, with these kids. How much freedom did you give them with the script, with the lines, with the blocking?
Yeah. There were actually scenes that I totally disregarded the script on the set. yeah, because especially with the scenes where, as I was saying a while ago, scenes where, are very, since it's very hard for Luis to act on it because it's his first time as well to do something like that. I totally disregarded the script and just gave him the simplest instructions. Just go with the flow, and enjoy, quote unquote, enjoy the moment, because this is your first time to do this in real life, so you might as well enjoy it, which makes it more authentic.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it gave a lot of freedom to the kids, and I trusted them so much. And sometimes we would have multiple takes, or sometimes we have one take, because we were having so much fun in doing different versions, because different things would come up while we're doing the scene. So, yeah.
And so that moment that you're talking about did come through as very authentic. I specifically remember that moment, and feeling that way, where there were movies like Stand By Me, where it's a coming of age of a group of friends. It kind of had that feeling where, wow, that was pretty powerful, and you were
Mhm.
rooting for both of them.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. And even in the comic scenes, as I had the opportunity to watch the film ahead of time, and I could see the authenticity come through with the conversations. It's just like what you would hear on the side, when maybe you're
Yeah.
walking along past the hospital corridor. So I like that. And I think that's the reason why JP said it brought him back, because it's just so close to reality.
It's so authentic, and to be able to capture that on film is just priceless. And talking
Yes.
about priceless, Louella, you did mention a while ago your association with FILPRO, that you are the vice president of FILPRO,
Yes.
and FILPRO is responsible for sponsoring Edward to be shown there in Chicago. Could you share with us what FILPRO is?
Yeah, so FILPRO stands for Filipino Young Leaders Program. And in this group right now, there's three of us that belong to that group. We are considered alumni of FILPRO. And it was started by Ambassador Jose Cuisha Jr. in 2012, where he had the idea of really bringing Filipino Americans back home to the Philippines and connect with their roots. So in 2012, out of close to like 500 applicants, they selected, and that's the the Philippine Embassy in Washington D.C. selected 10 candidates who would be going home to the Philippines for an immersion program. And we've done that every year since. And actually, in 2019, we even added more delegates so that there were 14 this time. So now there's a total of about 84 alumni across the USA. And these are, excellent leaders in all industries. You've already heard from Jhett, who's producing films and Broadway shows. We also have restaurateurs. We have people working in the tech industry for Google, for Apple. We have people in the finance industry like John Paul, and in teachers, nurses, businessmen, really, that are all excelling in the field, as well as community workers, people who are advocating for voter registration, mental health among Filipino Americans. So it's a wide variety of diverse folks that are all looking out for bringing the best out of the community into the mainstream, as well as bringing the best into our community. So yeah, so happy to be part of it.
It's amazing. And PhilPro with in associate not association, but PhilPro collaborating with the Asian pop-up cinema to bring Filipino movies to Chicago audiences. Is this how long has this been going on?
So this is our second year of teaming up with Asian Pop-Up Cinema, and they've been really, really great partners. Last year we brought Signal Rock, if you've heard of the movie, with
Yes,
yes, it was an award.
directed by Chito Ronyo.
Right,
The
that's
great
that's
Chito Ronyo,
absolutely
right?
correct. Yes, and and we were very honored to have had the lead actor also join in a discussion and conversation. Um, Unfortunately, this time we're not able to bring Direct Up, which we originally planned on bringing to Chicago for his premiere. But nevertheless, I think this that folks are seeing over in Chicago, which is also available across, well, around the world, really gives a little bit of light into the background on Edward. And thank you for sharing, the background stories of Edward Direct Off, and we're really looking forward to showing your film here in Chicago.
I'm so excited. I wish I could just fly to Chicago and watch with you guys. Do you see do you see this partnership with Asian Pop-Up Cinema to be an annual thing, or so that our Filipino filmmakers could have an avenue to show their work?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we started working with Asian Pop-Up Cinema, would you believe they have been in existence for 5 years but never shown any Filipino film at all? Until last year, when we said, you know what, let's try to do something to bring Filipino films here, right? Jhett knows the pain. Jhett knows the sort of reality that you are here living in the U.S. as Filipinos, and yet you don't see yourselves in movies that are showing in theaters here. So, with 4 million Filipinos in America, there's certainly space for us to dominate the screen. So, in our little way with FYLPRO and Asian Pop-Up Cinema, we're trying to do that. And of course, trailblazers like Jhett, and hopefully Thop, like we'll see you here too soon. You guys,
Yes, definitely.
yeah, you guys trailblaze it, and bring Filipino films and Filipino created films here in the U.S.
The Thop's got about a year until next 2021 to get one out. And Jhett can produce it, hopefully.
Yes.
Speaking of Jhett,
we're claiming it. We're claiming it.
Yes,
right? We will have
in Chicago.
In 3 years, we will be premiering a movie that is produced by Jhett Tolentino, directed by Thop Nazareno, and starring Feleo. Wow. How about that?
There we go. It happened here. It happened here. This is history in the making.
Right.
Oh, this is wonderful. It feels so good. I don't know if you feel it too, but it feels so good, even online, to be among resilient Filipino artists, Filipino trailblazers. It's magnetic, nahahawa ako sa energy and sa resilience ninyo. But talking about, going into drive-in movies, we are still in the middle of this pandemic, and people want to stay safe, and people are very careful about social distancing and making sure that they don't get sick. Is it safe? Is the drive-in movie a social distancing safe event? What do guests need to remember, need to prepare? Do they need to prepare?
Yeah, so let me try answering that, and JP, you can fill in too. So yes, so first off, that's the reason why we made it a drive-in movie, and it's a huge parking lot that was converted into a pop-up drive-in, really, at the Lincoln Yards. And with that big lot, we're only allowing 40 cars to park and watch. In the evening, you will have the audio through your radio, on a certain frequency. So you don't even need to roll down your windows if you're scared about that. So you really just drive in, watch the movie, and then drive out. Absolutely safe. Although, if need be, the theater is saying you can actually step out of your car, and they have 10 feet bubble walls is what they call it, just to make sure that people stay in their place. So it's absolutely safe. It's it's gonna be a fun night for us. You can also bring your dogs and your kids. That's the nice thing about it.
That's the best part.
You don't have to pay for babysitting that evening.
Bring in anyone, as long as they're inside your car.
Right.
JP, I heard that there's going to be a special program on the day of What's going to
Yes.
happen?
So if the movie is not enough, right? We actually have an award-winning singer. So what will happen is the theater opens up at 7:30, and as the cars are piling in, and if they're early, so hopefully they don't pull the Filipino time, it doesn't get dark until about 8:15 here in Chicago. So from 7:30 to 8:15, Nar Cabico actually will be singing. Are you familiar with him?
Yes,
Anna?
I love Nar. He is amazing. He's an
So
amazing artist. He has so much soul in his music. A wonderful singer, guitar player, pianist. Oh, you can't do Filipino time. You have to be there to watch Nar because he's amazing and it soothes you, soothes you. You know, especially now in these times of uncertainty and stress, you need an artist like Nar to serenade you. Oh my goodness.
yeah, he's got
There
an
you
acoustic
go.
set. Yeah, an acoustic set just set up for us. So don't be late.
This is amazing. Nar's the best. I can't believe you're flying him in. This is amazing.
Yeah. One of our FYLPRO, Lucky Siap, is very instrumental in doing that. So it really is, a drive-in movie, but a little, of course, Filipinos, we're going to have singing. So you can sing along.
And
And then,
speaking of,
Of course, you always have to have music and food, right?
yeah,
Those are the two things you
yep.
must always have. So,
yeah, it's not a Philippine culture without music and food.
agreed.
Yes.
So speaking of Jhett, we mentioned Jhett. So another one of our movies that we're showcasing this Filipino American History Month is from Jhett Tolentino. And this will be one of the trivia nights question in the future. Who is the only Filipino who have won a Grammy and 3 Tony Awards? Anna, who?
It's Jhett Tolentino.
There we go. And this guy has this Broadway presence, and then he crossed over to film, hence the Grammy. So, Jhett, what made you decide to cross over to the film?
Hi. Oh, well, the last Broadway show that I produced was Children of a Lesser God with Joshua Jackson. Before that was Huey with Forrest Whitaker, Oscar winner Forrest Whitaker. And then from then on, I'm getting other pitches for other shows, and they've gotten to commercial for me. And having an accounting degree, I already know specific numbers, and I can tell which Broadway show or Broadway theater can recoup in a certain time, and because I have that in my head. And I cannot pitch to potential producers or investors a certain project that I already know is not going to make it. At least I try. I've produced 18 shows so far, and I've done tours in the United States, in Canada, and I did one in the West End. So to me, I'm trying to take a break on that and see the potential in filmmaking, because I've realized that I've gotten this network of influential people in my very short Broadway career since I debuted in March of 2013. And I've asked myself, what should I do with this? So when I did my documentary in 2016, Life is What You Make It, I loved the idea of filmmaking because, I actually just shot it in 3 months in 9 countries. It follows my story from the slums in the Philippines to Broadway. So it's a short documentary which had its Philippine premiere at Cinemalaya in 2018. And I love that process. And I thought, oh, wow, films actually have longer shelf life, because Broadway shows, when they close, that's it. Yeah. That's it. But in films, once you put it in a can, it's forever, right? We can sell it into territories and all that. There's quite broader revenue stream for film. So that's why I decided to test the waters in films. But my first actual test in bringing Filipino representation, being that it's one of my advocacies in FYLPRO, and together with education, is that bringing the Filipino artists to the global mainstream. And my first try was with Crazy Rich Asians, actually, where I represented Chris Aquino getting that deal. So that was that. And I said, oh, okay, so
Wow.
let's try something else. And then I came across this script, Lingua Franca, which is very a groundbreaking project. And I dropped everything that I was doing to produce Lingua Franca. And I intend to do more films because I enjoyed it so much. But I'm not abandoning Broadway altogether. I can do both.
Why not? Lingua Franca is the first film in the world written and directed by a trans woman, Isabel Sandoval. How is it like working with her? How did you pick her film? How did you meet her? And this is also named as one of the best movies by Rotten Tomatoes, right? So this is just, wow.
Yeah, it just came out this
Over.
morning. It just came out this morning. I was so thrilled. I was up since 5 when I got the message from Isabel that we did. And then, of course, I've been sending it because it's very hard, especially for a Filipino film, to be included by Rotten Tomatoes as one of their best films of the year. And yes, there's the link. You can look it up. So it just came out this morning. I met Isabel in 2015 in New York City. She was introduced to me by Sherry Hill and Bibi Gandang Hari. So we were just hanging out one night. And I noticed she was very pretty, petite, and I didn't think of it. I didn't even know she was a trans. And then we became friends on Facebook from that night. And then 3 years later, I got this script of Lingua Franca, and I read it, and I just couldn't let it go. It stuck in my head, and I noticed the name of the writer, and I was like, this name is familiar. So I looked her up, of course. Then I realized that it's my friend on Facebook. So I asked her to meet with me, and we discussed about her plans on the film, because I always wanted to make sure that people that I align my name with are collaborative enough, that they listen to my idea somehow. I know I'm not the writer director, but as someone who will produce it, I'd like to have a say, especially in identifying the target market, what's the strategy for the film and all that. So, and she's very collaborative. She's very open to my suggestions, and we announced our launching. We actually did a Kickstarter campaign in January 2018 where we got about $32,000 of global donations from that. And then
from the
in
launch
August,
alone? From the launch alone?
$32,000, yes, from Kickstarter. And then, I got some connections. We all do. And then in August, September, we shot the films. So within the year, we finished it, and then we world premiered at the oldest film festival in the world, Venice Film Festival, last year.
Yes.
And since it has taken off, it's the first Filipino in the 63-year of BFI London history to be nominated for Best Film. And we were in competition with Honey Boy, Shia LaBeouf, But so far, it has won Best Film in France, in Portugal, in the United States with Bentonville, the film festival by Oscar winner Gina Davis. And also it has won in jury prize in Kiev, the 49th Kiev Molodist in Ukraine. And so six total wins so far. And it's on Netflix now, North America, US and Canada. So
I know. I'm so sad because I'm here in the Philippines and I can't see it.
So Jhett, let's talk about the movie that it was competing with when it was launched at Netflix, and who had a bigger rating.
Oh my God! Oh,
I had to bring it up. I had to
Just look up the Rotten Tomato link that came out today about the best films of 2020. So you will know. There's a lot of them, actually. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of Hollywood films that Lingua Franca had better ratings. So
right.
Yeah.
One in particular is Mulan.
Oh my God.
I had to say
Okay,
it.
it didn't come from me.
I
Yes.
gotta say it. I can say it. I
Come
mean,
from
you
you.
might not be able
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
So
Right. Yeah.
Mulan.
Cause
I mean, you know,
yeah.
it was picked over Mulan as movie of
Yeah.
the week. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's incredible. And you know what makes it,
Yes.
yeah, what makes it even sweeter is that you're a proud Filipino American, and we see that. I mean, your
Yeah.
documentary alone.
Yeah. I just have to include this. Sorry, I forgot that it Lingua Franca had its theatrical release in France, all over theater in France in July 1st, and we were in cinemas for 9 weeks, and
Wow.
we broke the record of all Filipino films combined. Those were released in France. We broke, if you combine their box office together, so we broke the record. So I'm so proud
Amazing.
of this film
It's amazing.
because it won best film
Congratulations.
in Paris last November at the 25th Cherie. So that's why yeah, and it's we will be having DVD in France. Yeah,
Wow.
Oh,
Coming out
wow.
in
soon.
French.
So it's en
Yeah.
français, so you
Yeah.
have French subtitles.
Yes,
Oh,
and we also sold in Spain. There's some certain outlet that you can watch it in Spain, and also we sold it in Israel. So that's that.
and it's also
Yeah.
received well in Israel. Oh my goodness,
Yes. Yeah.
Jhett, it seems like you have this gift of seeing which one works, which one doesn't. It's almost as if you have the golden touch. What made Lingua Franca successful, or what made you say, "No, this is mine. I'm producing this"? What's so unique about Lingua Franca?
Well, let me talk about the uniqueness of this film first. When I read the script again, I saw that it's very timely. You know, with the political climate in the United States, it's so irreverent. I love it because, as artists, we can only push so much by creating art. That's the only way, because no amount of protest or shouting or posting in social media can do justice, right? But in doing a film and putting it in a can and showing it to the world, it lives forever. So there's that. There's a bit political. There's the immigration topic there that's very timely also, and a very near and dear to my heart is the LGBTQ rights. It's very important to me, and I think, especially now, with the looming new appointment of a new justice in the Supreme Court, who is very conservative. So the Supreme Court might overturn the gay marriage in the United States, together with the pro-choice of women. So it's very, I say it's very threatening, to say the least. So Lingua Franca is just one of those films that's advocating for those rights. And in terms of how successful it is, well, we teamed up with, first of all, the producing team. I'm co-producing with Carlo Feleo, who's Australian Pinoy actually, who moved here to the United States. And he was one of the producers of Happy Jail. It's on Netflix also. Darlene Malimas is our Philippine counterpart. And of course, Isabel is one of our producers. And the creative team, we have the third Filipino-born Tony winner, Clint Ramos, who did the costume and production design. He's there. And also our cinematography, this fantastic guy, Isaac Banks, who I can eat up this film every day because it's just so gorgeous. It won the cinematography at Young Critics Film Desk in the Philippines. So we won that, and Isabel also won the best performance, which was announced last May this year. So yeah, so I think those are the things. When you have a good script, structured strategy, and the best creative team, those to me are the recipe for a great film.
Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
Sorry, I got so
I can
excited.
see. I know. You can't help but be excited, right?
No, because it's amazing how Jhett has globalized our culture, and it's not in a corny way, if you know what I mean, if you know my
Yeah.
drift.
Well,
It's
so
globalized.
corny way. I mean, no offense to other filmmakers, but it's not 3 hours long. Whether
It's 94
it's very
minutes.
succinct, and very impactful at the same time.
He's found he's found the window. He's found it's just it amazes me. Jhett, there are so many things to say about lingua franca and why people should watch it. But for you, like you said, you've seen it 100 times or even more. But for you, why should we watch it?
Well, to me, I'd like. Let me just step back a bit. I only produce films or I create arts that's somewhat challenging. When people say, "Oh, you can't do that," oh, wait, give me a minute and I'll show you. So that's I always take the challenge. But to me, it's a different kind of Filipino film. Having grown up in the Philippines, I was born there, raised and educated. I was in this space of the network kind of films, and lingua franca is not that kind of film. All right, I would say it's intellectual. It has a pedigree. When I say pedigree, is that you can sell it globally. Again, yes, because it's won best film already in other countries, and to me, the main message, aside from that we push the right for immigration, for women, for LGBTQ, and for the immigrant voices, the unrepresented voices. This will show in the ending that it's actually women empowerment. To me, that's the main message of the film. Some people do not see it that way, but I hope those who have seen it, just message me. I love talking about this film. I'd like to be able, for those who've seen it, that they would fully understand what it's about.
Wow, women empowerment. So we're looking forward to that. And of course, Jhett, we're going to capture this film because we're actually hosting a Netflix watch party on October 30th at 7 p.m. And I want to promote that because it's going to be moderated prior to the movie. We're going to have a pre-movie discussion to set up the film with a local TV reporter here in Chicago, Cate Cauguiran. And then following the movie would be another chat
Yes.
with actually we confirmed Joel Trinidad to be part of that panel with you. So really exciting times for you. But what other projects are you involved in?
Actually, currently I have 30 in my pipeline that I'm trying to start. Some of them are in early development stages, but there are quite a few that are ready to be shot. It's just this pandemic thing. But the number one ultimate next is Park Avenue, also by Isabel Sandoval, written and she will direct it as well. It's a story of an ambitious Filipino immigrant who got married into old Jewish money in Manhattan. It's the lengths of that she has to go through to maintain status, influence, and power in high society in New York. So that's what's about, and it's going to be played by our megastar, Sharon Cuneta. She's already signed into the project. And together with her also signed are Tony Labrusca and Jody Santamaria. So I hope this pandemic will clear us to shoot in spring. And they will be together with 2 A-list Hollywood actors as well.
Wow.
And I mentioned earlier that I'm not completely abandoning Broadway. I will only go back to Broadway with Here Lies Love. It's the musical about the life of Imelda Marcos, written by David Byrne of Talking Heads and Fatboy Slim, directed by Alex Timber. So once again, when Broadway is clear to go back hopefully next year, so that it'll be the best gift for the Philippines for the 500th discovery of Magellan. Okay.
Oh,
That's
it's the
right.
500th anniversary.
Yeah,
I didn't know
2021.
that.
Yeah, I always think of that, because again, we have to push for representation, and we have to remain seen and heard, and so we just gotta keep on doing stuff, create stuff.
That's right. It's the quincentennial is what they call it.
Yeah.
Circumnavigation of the globe, and then Magellan obviously is our national hero. But I have the claim, FYLPRO has the claim also that we had shown Here Lies Love back in 2017 at the Seattle Repertory, right? So again, we're always trying to highlight our alumni as well, and we had that very successful run in Seattle for Here Lies Love. So I'm looking forward to that being on Broadway soon.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I'd probably burst into tears, just full of pride for for our culture. And bless your heart, Jhett, for really spearheading these projects to give to open the way for the Filipino artists to are representing.
One at a time. I just want to mention Mark Bautista was played Ferdinand Marcos in London and in Seattle productions of Here Lies Love. So I hope that we could have that on Broadway as well. So.
And then you just said earlier you had 30 projects in the pipeline. So now there's 31 because you have a movie with Direct Top.
Oh, right.
And Anna, starring Anna.
With starring Anna and a cameo for JP and myself.
Yeah. I'll be the guy selling manga. I'll be the guy selling manga on the corner.
That's right.
So,
right. I kind of wanted to just add information, JP. You mentioned about the Netflix party. It's a new thing, because I know that in reaching out to Jhett, when we wanted to show Lingua Franca, we were immediately told that right now with the contract of Netflix, he can't really stream the movie anywhere else. So the nice thing is that we have this technology called Netflix Party, where we can get all folks who actually have a Netflix subscription to watch all at the same time. So that's what we're doing on October 30. It's a free event that is hosted by FYLPRO, and I didn't want to forget to mention by MPAC as well, the Midwest Filipino American Coalition, which is headed by JP. So we're all trying to uplift our each other here. So October 30th, it's gonna be a Netflix party. People in the US can just tune in. Actually, go to the link that we will be sharing on Facebook. Search for FYLPRO, FYLPRO, and we will be sending you information on how you can be part of the Netflix party. And then for the people in the Philippines, I don't know the technicals and how it all works, but I believe if you have a VPN, you can also join in and watch us.
You
didn't hear it from us.
You didn't hear it from us, everybody.
It's not
What
all
is a
illegal.
VPN?
Right. So yeah, and we're still kind of like figuring things out, but I want to make it official. I'd like to invite Direct Thop Nazareno and Anna to join us on October 30 as well, with Kate Cauguiran of ABC7, with Joel Trinidad, and of course Jhett Tolentino.
This is amazing. What you guys are doing there in Chicago and the whole of the US is just amazing. It really shows and showcases the resilience of the Filipino spirit. And it makes me so proud and inspired to do what I can over here in Manila to uplift everyone, our fellow Filipinos. Jan Paul, JP, are there any more? If we want to learn more about Filipino American History Month,
Sorry.
Sorry.
I thought somebody fell.
No. It's good. Saluhin na lang natin. Sino man?
Yeah, no. JP, if we want to learn more about the Filipino American History Month, where do we go? Is there a website or an announcement, or do you have like
Yes, we
general
have put up a
Facebook?
calendar. Yes, we have a calendar. They can go to pacfmidwest.org,
Mhm.
the FILPRO Facebook page, or the ISFA Chicago Facebook page. And the calendar events all month long. I mean, we have food, the restaurant week here in Chicago featuring adobo. We have movies, Louella Salonga's U.S. premiere of Yellow Rose, right? Yellow Rose. So there's a lot happening and a lot of fireside chat about the current issues and, of course, the history of social activism. The Filipino American Historical Society's theme for this year is social activism. And we have a lot of people that are very much involved in that. And of course, Jhett talked about the LGBTQ community, but within FILPRO, we have Toda de la Rosa, Miami, and in the heart of Kansas is TJ Simba Medal, supporting the Black Lives Matter movement there. So it's not just about the Filipino, but it's really building communities and coalition to make sure that we stick together and do fight for our rights. So all month long, we have all those events. So Jhett and Anna and Toph, any events that you three would like to highlight?
Well, nothing much. Well, I have my usual, social media. I do concerts, but they're all, private concerts and private events. But I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Philpro for inviting me to co-host this Q&A event tonight. I am so honored and I feel so blessed to be with you guys and to share film and our passions and just resilience of the Filipino spirit.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Anna. It was an honor for us to have you here, and you're such a good host. You should do more of this. I want to see you on TV more, really. And you're fighting the good fight over there in the Philippines.
Yeah.
You're bringing Filipino artistry, bringing the best out of our actors as a teacher and actor. So appreciate you. Doing your part of the job over there in the Philippines. We only get inspired more by people like you, people like Top,
Yes.
people who are keeping it creative despite all the challenges of being in the Philippines. So we just take inspiration
All
from
right.
you guys.
And Lou, sabi nila maarte daw ako, pero si Anna is an Leo awardee as Best Actress in a musical for
Yep.
Sarsuela.
Yep.
So meron tayong
That's
Amazing.
actress,
right.
director, producer, you as a singer, ako ang maarte ng group.
Don't worry, JP. We will give you a cameo role.
Yeah, sabi
in the
ni
future,
Ana,
diba?
benta daw ng balut. Pwede ako, balut, Penoy! So,
All
with
right.
that, family matters. So, happy FAHM.ily, Filipino American History Month. And again, I'm your co-host, John Paul Ferrer. And
Anna Feleo, and we'd like to ask, so before we finish tonight, let's ask our guests to invite our viewers to watch their
Yes.
films, right? Top.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm inviting everyone to watch the US premiere of our film, Edward, on October 3, 7 p.m. at the Davis Theater. Sa mga tita ko dyan, nood kayo. I have a lot of relatives in Chicago, so I hope you can watch my film. And there's nothing more fulfilling than being able to share your story. That's what motivates you as a filmmaker, as a storyteller. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Asian Pop-Up Cinema and of course FILPRO for making this happen and for organizing this event for the frontliners, because I made this film with that intention to show and reflect their hardships. So thank you so much for making this happen. And again, to everyone in Chicago, hope you can catch our film, and yeah, I hope you can enjoy our film too. Yeah.
Jhett? Thank you, Thop.
Yes. Yes. Hi. I'd like to invite everyone to watch Lingua Franca. It's on Netflix, North America now, US and Canada. For those who have seen it, I hope you can watch it again. And this time put on the subtitles because the film has Bisaya, Tagalog, Russian, and mostly English. So don't forget the subtitles on. And I'd like to invite you to join us on October 30th, a virtual Netflix party to watch Lingua Franca again. And I encourage you to participate in shooting your questions. Please be open. Let's be honest, whatever you like or didn't like about the film, I'd like to address it. I do films as an art where we give space to the audience to absorb it. It's not a one-dimensional spoon feeding kind of film. So you are invited to participate, to interpret your own take on the scenes, on why the actors or the director took a certain route. So let's open it up.
Yep.
And to plug, I have actually a virtual Zoom also tomorrow to talk about Lingua Franca at Velcheck Foundation, which is the big thing. We've been planning on this for 2 months. So that's tomorrow, 8 p.m. here in New York. And you can find the info on my Instagram account, Jhett_Tolentino. And also, lastly, I'd like to thank the biggest supporters of Lingua Franca, Front Row, R.S. Francisco and Sam Versosa, TBA, Nanding Fernando, Ed Rocha, Ting Nebrida, also Dr. Romulo Arumin, Joseph Francia, Dr. Joseph Francia, Jerome Manquito, and Daisy Almacen, Richard Gervais, Anthony Fong. There's quite Sunny de Guzman. There's quite a lot of them, and Salvatore Alemo. So those are the people who really invested in the film, and without them, we're not talking about it right now. And thank you, FYLPRO.
Yes,
Yay! Thank you, everybody. And I bring it back to you, Anna and JP.
Again, thank you, everyone. And please support FYLPRO and Family Matters and the Filipino American History Month. So all the details are on the links below. And please follow them for more notification and more announcements. Thank you so much from the Philippines, from Manila, Quezon City, Ana Feleo. Family Matters.
And my name is John Paul Ferrer. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ano ba yan, Metlog? Panalo na naman ako. Ano sa piso ko?
Gago. Hindi pa patay yan, oh. Gago.
Patay na yan.
Sexy shit.
Woo! Si nanay.
Gago yung kapatid kasi. Ito nakadilat pati.
Ayan, boyfriend.
Ganda to, ano? That's ba hindi?
Hindi.
Baka muna bantayan mo kasi walang bantay to eh, ha?
Tagal ka na dito? Ba't sino mo binabantayan mo?
Si tatay.
Uy, anong ginagawa mo dito?
Galaw-galaw na ho tayo, magdarong sa sidok.
Kasi nga siya, sinamahan ko siya dito eh. Nakakinip dun eh.
Alam mo, ayoko na talaga umalis dito. Libre na yung pagkain 3 beses pa sa isang araw. May nag-aalaga pa sa akin. Alam mo, pag nandito tayo, hindi ko alam kung matutuwa ba ako o malulungkot ako.
Ito lang talaga na aksidente ka eh. Kita tayo. Nagpustahan kasi kami nun kung deads ka o mabubuhay ka pa dun sa ER.
Ano ba akala mo sa akin? Manok na panabong? Pakyo ka!
Oh,